everyone, I'm Andrea. Welcome back to my channel. It's good to have you guys here today. So I wanted to start doing some back to school videos, and I don't think last year I didn't do like any. I think I might have done one. The year before I did a whole week of back to school. I don't have time to film a week's worth of videos and do a week of back to back videos. But I thought starting now and going probably through August, I would do some more kind of school related content for like back to school type videos, if that makes sense. So today is going to be the first of those, and this is coming from a comment that I got on a previous video asking if I had any advice on how to furnish and set up your first apartment. Given that a lot of people about now are starting to be thinking about either moving out for the first time, if they're just starting university, or might be moving into a new apartment if they're moving to a different city to do a master's degree or a PhD. So whether you're moving into your first apartment or moving into a second or third, but maybe you've had to downsize a lot, maybe you've moved across the country and decided to just start over from scratch, hopefully this video will help you. So I've got some general tips and then some more specific advice. I'm going to try to keep this as succinct as possible. That being said, if you watch my channel a lot, you know that that's kind of a challenge for me. Also, I should say, these tips are coming from years of moving and apartment experience. So by the time I moved into this apartment, I already had a lot of furniture and a lot of home furnishings. I have a lot of experience with furnishing and setting up an apartment. And I remember my first apartment vividly. I remember the first apartment that I lived in ever, which was furnished, as I said, so it just needed accessories. And then I also remember the first place I moved into that like had nothing. And thank God, and IKEA had recently opened, and so I was able to go to IKEA and get a lot of stuff. So I've got notes on my phone, so I'm going to dive into the general tips. My first tip is to start small and go slowly. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was your apartment. Don't expect to have your whole apartment Pinterest worthy or Instagram worthy within 2 weeks of moving in. That's just not how it works. And if you try to do that, you'll end up buying a bunch of stuff that you end up probably changing your mind on and not really liking a year later, and it just ends up being a waste of money. Don't rush to buy everything at once. I recommend start with the most basic things, and then with every paycheck you get, so every couple weeks or every month if you're paid monthly, add a little bit more. So you can look at your budget for the month and kind of decide, okay, from each paycheck I can afford $30 or $40 or $50, or maybe you can afford $100 every month to go towards something for your home. But figure out what you can afford. If it's $10, that's more than enough between thrift shops and the Target dollar section. So be honest with your budget and don't go over your budget, but set yourself a little bit of money every month to go to house stuff. And then you're getting to kind of slowly add things in. So by doing a little bit every couple weeks or each month, you're slowly but strategically adding things that fit with your apartment, fit what you kind of really want for your apartment, and you're not rushing to decide on a theme or a general aesthetic or decor. You're adding things because you're truly loving what you're finding. Accessories make all the difference. You can buy the most basic, bare bones furniture and dress it up with accessories. So I have, as you can see behind me, lots of throw pillows, lots of throw blankets. So that chair is just a kind of boring navy blue slip covered futon. So it's very functional, but it's not really pretty. But I made it a lot more cozy by adding a plush throw blanket on top and then a few pillows, which the pillows, the Union Flag one and the London Tower Bridge one are both from Bath & Body Works, ironically. But the other printed one is from the Museum of London in London. So that's another thing. If you're a big traveler, I love finding things when I travel. And I do bring back a lot when I go to London, so a lot of my prints and artwork, although there is one from Prague right there and other places. I have a lot of stuff from all over the UK and from all of my past vacations. I just don't have enough frames to frame them all. It's kind of a problem. Plus, I feel like I would then have every inch of wall space covered. What I need to do is start swapping things out. So ones that have been on display for a while, switch them out. But when you travel, prints, postcards, gift cards, like fancy like greeting cards with picture photography on them, make great artwork. So accessories make all the difference. There are very easy DIYs you can do. Accessories are also really easy to find cheaply, either at the dollar store or in the dollar spot at Target or at thrift stores. Upcycling things from the thrift stores, so finding something that doesn't look that great, but then you slap some paint on it, or you just tweak it somehow and it looks completely different. So I always recommend focusing on accessories. Don't spend a lot of money on them, but find really cool and interesting ones. And just one really interesting piece can change like a whole corner of a room. So you don't even need a lot of accessories. You just need a few really well selected ones. And then kind of my last general tip is check Pinterest and Instagram for easy hacks and DIYs. You can find so many hacks for IKEA furniture. So I haven't done anything to it yet, but like I have the $7.99, the $8 IKEA lac side table. I also have the coffee table that's like $10. And I have seen so many amazing hacks that just with a coat of paint or some cool paper or doing decoupage on the top, like the ideas are limitless. You can really make it look super cool and not like a $7 or $8 table. So I find that Pinterest and Instagram are really great places to go to get inspiration, as well as to find hacks and DIYs and ways of turning something that maybe only cost you $5 at a thrift store into something that looks much more interesting and much more expensive. So those are kind of some of the general tips, and then the kind of last things to say are what to splurge on, what to save on, and where to shop. So what to splurge on, the things that you do want to spend a little bit more of your money. I would say if you've got a budget, these are the things that you want to spend probably about 70% of your budget on, and then save the other 30% for the accessories and things like that. So you want to splurge on the things that you're probably going to be sitting and relaxing on the most: your bed and your couch. If you can get a bed or a couch from a family member, if you're moving out of your parents and they're okay with you taking the bed that you've been sleeping on, or if they have an old sofa in the den and they're wanting to like redo their den and they can give you the old sofa, like do that. That's great. But if you're having to spend the money on it, those are the two things that I would spend money on. If you do have to go with a cheaper bed, definitely, or if you're inheriting a bed from someone, definitely look into investing in some kind of foam topper. They really do make a world of difference. Splurge on those two things. What to save on? Everything else. Bookshelves, definitely. I'd say if you're a grad student, see if you can get on the email list. Sometimes grad students who are moving will be getting rid of stuff. I know that when I move, I'm not taking those with me. So I will be going onto some website or emailing just around the department to say, hey, I've got 4, they're like 7 feet tall, 6.5 feet tall bookshelves. I'd probably sell the whole lot for like $40. They were $25 each when I bought them, so I was able to do my whole wall for $100. That was a really good deal for me at the time, but because they're so cheap, they're just not gonna move very easily. So I didn't spend a whole lot on the other stuff. You know, the bookcases, I bought the cheapest ones I could find at IKEA in order to afford 4 of them all on one wall. My desk was, you know, really basic pieces from IKEA that I just kind of configured into the desk that I wanted. But being a grad student, I did spend more on my desk than I probably would have when I was an undergrad, just because I knew I was going to be spending way more time at my desk. So spend strategically. You know, it's worth it to splurge on a bed and on a couch because you do spend a lot of time on there. Next would probably be your desk setup, but beyond that, you really don't need to spend a whole lot on a dining table. I no longer have a dining table. I still have it. I got rid of all of the chairs and I use it as a desk. So I bought it years ago when I was in my third apartment, something like that. And I used it for a dining table for a while, and then when I moved into this apartment, it just didn't really fit my life anymore. So that's another thing. Know what your priorities are. If you don't host dinner parties regularly, you probably don't need a dining table. So save the space, save the money, and use that space for something else. What is supposed to be my dining room is now my office in my apartment. So if you haven't seen my office tour, you can kind of watch that and see what I'm talking about. So know what your priorities are and kind of splurge and spend kind of related to that. So in terms of places to shop, just as a way of ending the videos, this will obviously vary depending on where you live, what country you live in, what city you live in. But the places that I tend to go the most, I mean, top of the list would be thrift stores, because they're cheap, you can find really good deals, you can find just about everything you need and not spend a whole lot of money. The one downside you might have, like what I struggle with at thrift stores, is I have a small car, so if I find any bigger pieces, I can't take them home with me. So if you have that problem, maybe find a friend who's got a bigger car than you or a truck, and then just go do kind of a day of thrift shopping and you both can be finding stuff together. So thrift stores are great. I'm a huge fan of IKEA. I shop at IKEA a lot less now because I certainly don't need any more homeware or furniture, but every now and then I do used to like to pop in and just refresh cushions, blankets, little things. I'll swap things out if I'm just getting bored of something. So IKEA is still a really great place to go. Target is really good. I've found a lot of really great pieces at Target. Craft stores can be good for accessories in terms of like picture frames, vases, greenery if you want to add some greenery to your apartment. And keep an eye on coupons. So like Michael's, Joann's are the two of the big craft stores here in the US, or at least kind of the West Coast area. They frequently do 50% off coupons. So again, if you're spending a little bit every couple of weeks or every month, you can stock up on those coupons and be able to get 50% off an item, which would mean that you have more money to spend on something else. You can get a few things from that kind of paycheck's budget for homeware. Stores like Home Goods, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, TK Maxx if you're in the UK, Home Sense if you're in the UK. I have found so many great things there at all of those stores. Candles make a world of difference. I swear, just having your home smell nice automatically makes it feel more like a home. So candles, diffusers, things like that are great. And then the final place that I kind of shop is my parents' house. So every now and then I just check in with my mom, like, is there anything you don't want anymore? Always happy to take hand-me-downs. So, and then one last thing to address is the kitchen. If you are going to be living with someone and the kitchen is a shared space, definitely check with them before you move in or before you buy stuff to see what do they have, what do you have, what are the gaps, what do you still need. So if you can share things, that's great. If you're living by yourself, stop and think about, what do you actually cook? Because when you're set loose in a kitchen section, you think you need everything, and you really don't. So, if you're like me and you don't really cook, there's a lot of stuff I don't need. I don't need every possible baking tin and every possible casserole dish and every possible pot and pan. Like, I will never use most of them. So stop and think, what do you actually make on a regular basis? If you drink coffee every day, you're probably going to need a coffee maker. For me, an electric kettle is an essential. I also need a kind of pot to boil water to make pasta, and then a larger pot to do sauces in, and then a kind of skillet to do eggs in, and that's kind of it. You'll probably need some kind of ladle, a slotted spoon, and a spatula. Places like Target and IKEA will do like little sets where you'll get like 5 to 6 kitchen utensils, like a spatula, a slotted spoon, a couple of different spoons and ladles for like $5. Those are great to snap up. because you will use most of those. But when it comes to pots, pans, dishes, other utensils, do you need a dinner set for 16 people if you're living in a 1-bedroom apartment? No, you don't. So start small, buy the pack of 4. Don't think that you need the 16 so that you never have to do dishes. It's just not a good thing. Do your dishes more regularly. I have enough dishes that by the time I'm running out of my last fork, knife, plate, my dishwasher is full. And then I run the dishwasher, I empty it, and I've got all my dishes back again. So you want more than just one serving set, because then you're washing your dishes every single meal. But you definitely don't need a table setting for 16 if you live by yourself and if you're not doing formal dinners all the time. So that's my advice on kitchen. Kitchens can get really overwhelming, and trust me, if you are going to be moving a bit during your degree, you don't want a whole kitchen worth of stuff. My kitchen is my least favorite thing to pack and unpack when I move. It is hell. I don't enjoy it. Yeah, so don't go overboard on the kitchen. So that is my advice. Again, the most important thing is to simply start small and go slow, and remember that just like Rome, your apartment won't be furnished in a day, but if you take your time and add things intentionally, you will enjoy your home and feel more at home than if you rush to put in a bunch of things and make it look like a staged hotel or show home. Show homes are nice for a bit, but then they get really generic and boring and stale, and you are unhappy with everything that you have. So that's my advice. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. I will be back soon with more back to school related videos. If you have any topics for a back to school related video you would like to see me do, please leave it in the comments down below, or simply say hi in the comments down below, and I will see you all soon in the next video. Thanks for watching this one. Bye.